All right, we are live. Can everybody see me and hear me? All right, we are good to go. So, the stream is probably not going to go very long, and it's probably not going to be super well attended because it is late, but I wanted to do something. Yeah, I mean, I wanted to win too, of course, but I get it. It's not something I'm going to waste my time getting upset about. Oh, absolutely, Eros. A lot of communication issues on the defense. Think all the injuries contributed to that. I'm sure it doesn't help. AJ Barner was a steal. I love him. He's pretty good. I mean, those catches were all easy money, but he's a good blocker. Gets better with every game. He was on point, man. I got nothing bad to say. Yeah. Detroit, I didn't love the way the game was called, but I've said this before, I'll say it again. I think that we would have kept giving up points until we lost. We scored, no, I mean, Detroit scored 42 points. I think they would have scored 50. I think they would have scored 50 if they needed to. They could have scored 55 if they needed to. And we would have lost no matter what. But I'm still upset with some of the mistakes made on offense. Yeah, Pharaoh Brown, maybe he's still banged up or something. He's supposed to be a really good blocker. This is not characteristic. Yeah, Matthew, you can't even worry about that, dude. It doesn't matter. Yeah, Christian Haynes looked fine, although I thought Bradford looked mostly fine too. So I don't know if Haynes took the job. It sucks, but we have to believe that it'll be worth it at the end of the year when these guys haven't had to play in all 17 games. I don't know what that was from Gibson, but that did look really embarrassing. Like, you can't catch up with Jared Goff. You're an edge rusher. It's not like he's a nose tackle. If a nose tackle couldn't keep up with Jared Goff, that'd be one thing, right? I thought Bradford did fine today, but I'd have to work a little harder to try to isolate him. Yeah, I'm not feeling bad at all, guys, and I don't think any of you guys should be either. Like, I think that if you're upset right now, you're missing this. Nothing to trip about right now. Long-lived king. I don't know how it would play out differently. We never got within 8 points. Or within 7 points, I should say. That 2-point conversion never mattered at all. Now, if you're just saying you don't think it's a good idea, okay, maybe. I like going for 2. But I could understand, somebody saying, I don't think it's a good idea to go for 2. But to say that it hurt us in this game, I don't know how anyone could argue that. Yeah, Grubb was great. I know some people are going to get on Grubb for not running the ball enough, but I'm not. I don't really agree with that. I will say that obviously things are out of balance, but that was because we fell behind so quickly. We have to keep throwing. But yeah, I never got mad at this game or anything, and that's rare for me. Like, I never got upset at this game. I was just kind of like, well, even though I knew we were not far off of being able to win, and it was kind of a stupid game, I never really got mad. How was Woolen in coverage? I think you could kind of just assume that every single player on this team played played awful in coverage. Just assume that. I think Witherspoon was probably the biggest disappointment today. I guess if you had to pick out one guy, probably Witherspoon, but guys, it's really hard to do your job when you can't get any pass rush. Yeah. Somebody in the comments on that video said that my DK criticism was out of line, but I'm sorry. That sequence of mistakes that he made in this game, it's too much. I'm the first person who will acknowledge that we need to accept that DK Metcalf is not a perfect player and never will be, but it was too much tonight. Well, Hutchinson did a lot. He didn't register any stats, but he did a lot. Yeah, Derek Hall, man. A lot of people who are really plugged into this stuff believe that Derek Hall will be better than Mafe, and I didn't really believe it, but I'm starting to believe it. Ultimately. The Lockett call was crap. Like, I'm sorry, that's a crap call, but like I said, Detroit would have kept scoring if they needed to win the game. That was one of two things in this game that made me mad at the officials. The other one was the 2-point conversion. That was a clear catch. Brazy Entertainment, thank you for the $4.99 super chat. I mean, I get critics. I wasn't expecting the defense to do as bad as they didn't, but 7 injuries just in the defense. We didn't do too bad, to be fair. It is what it is. That's my approach. It's a bad game, and I'm not saying it's okay, but it's not worth getting upset about when it's very easy to follow a through line, right? Like this game, you have no interior and you have no edge rush because of injuries. You're losing one of your 2 starting interior defensive linebackers. And then halfway through, you lose your best safety, right? So you give up 42 points. That makes sense. You know what doesn't make sense? Giving up almost 500 yards to Mason Rudolph and a terrible Steelers offense at home with a playoff spot on the line for both teams. That doesn't make sense. That's going to set me off. Well, the booth officials are really bad at their job then, because that was clearly complete. Am I out of pocket here, or was that an obvious completion? Addison Shelby, thank you for the $2. I'm wondering when DK is going to learn to go down. Hopefully. Like, I am the first person who will acknowledge that we as a fan base need to accept what DK Metcalf is. He's an imperfect player, but the positives way outweigh the negatives. But for him to fight over half a yard and fumble the ball because of it was really not something that I was okay with. I'm not on that wagon. By the way, guys, we didn't get there before the game, which is maybe why we lost. But we are 4 subscribers short of 18,500. So if we could get there before midnight, we've got 1 hour and 2 minutes. That'd be awesome. We already hit the month goal, but we're currently 4 subs short of beating the monthly goal by 100. So if you're watching the stream and you're not subbed up yet, please click sub. And let's get to 18,500 before the end of September. It kind of felt like the game was over when DK fumbled the ball. I kind of felt that way too, but it wasn't, right? Like, they fought back, and I give them a lot of credit for that. Thing is, running backs fight all the time for that half yard and sometimes fumble. He's in that mode. I mean, Tyler Lockett seems to have a good understanding of when to go down, right? So it's doable. When will our D-line be back to normal? I would be very surprised if Williams, Nwosu, and Mafe aren't back for the Giants game. Murphy, I don't know. Murphy, I'm not so sure. I'm not too mad about DK. I'm more worried about Spoon. Spoon's probably having a little bit of a sophomore slump. That's, I think, all that need be said. Yeah, that garbage time hit on Gino did not make me happy. I gotta be honest. That made me very unhappy. Is Love good? Love's a good player, yeah. Roy Froelich, thank you for the $5 Canadian. I think that's your 20th super chat on this channel ever, if I'm reading this right. K9. Yeah, man. As good as Charbonnet has been and as good as Charbonnet did play today, you look at that game and you very, excuse me, you very clearly see who the best running back on this team is. I was happy no matter if we lost because of our lateral play. It shows Grubb can do stuff. I thought Grubb had an amazing game today. I think that we can now say that Grubb looks like he's in his bag. 3 subscribers short, by the way, guys. And we now have an hour to do it. Again, we've already hit the monthly goal, but it would be cool. Ethan14, thank you for the $4.99. I personally like DK using his physicality to fight for extra yards. I totally understand your perspective, though. I mean, I'm fine with that too, Ethan. The problem I have with it is that you're fighting for half a yard at that point. You've got 3 people around you. There's a lot of traffic. The play's over. That's my thing with the DK thing, right? I don't mind him fighting for extra yards. That's part of his bag as a player. But you have to acknowledge when the risk is no longer worth the reward. Like, there's no reward there. You already have the first down. You're not fighting for a touchdown. It's either you get a half yard or you don't. But again, I am a big believer in the idea that we as a fan base need to accept that Metcalf is not a perfect player and never will be. And we need to be willing to live with some of the negatives. Today was too much. Today was too much. But DK is never going to be like Doug Baldwin, right? Like, Doug Baldwin was basically a perfect player for a couple years there. How concerned are you about the defense? Well, I know why the defense had that game. It makes total sense to me. It makes sense to me why a defense missing by the end of the game basically 6 starters wouldn't be able to stop anybody. What doesn't make sense to me is a mostly healthy defense getting destroyed by Mason Rudolph at home with the playoff spot on the line. That's going to set me off. This, nah. Nah. That Goff receiving touchdown on Gibson was rough. That wouldn't have happened if Mafe was out there. Yeah, I mean, that just, it looks really bad. I don't know if it actually is that bad, but it certainly looks that bad. 100 viewers on the stream, by the way, guys. Thank you. 2 subscribers short. 18,498. Why did our secondary get lit up? Because we couldn't get a pass rush. Because we didn't have people up front to get a consistent pass rush. Because everybody up front's hurt. We got no Mafe, no Nwosu, no Williams, no Murphy. While we're at it, no Baker. Like, how are you going to get a pass rush when you're missing everything? Like, some of the stuff that happened today was still not okay, like this 70-yard touchdown. But for the most part, this follows a perfect through line of common sense and logic. Yeah, Ben Johnson definitely outcoached McDonald. That's totally fair. But that really shouldn't be surprising to anybody because Mike McDonald, this is his first time being a head coach in the NFL. He's going to get, people are going to get him a few times. It's going to happen. That's part of the growth process. Oh, 500. We just hit 18,500 subs. We got there. 18,500. So we beat the goal by a lot. We beat the goal by 100. So thank you, everybody. So 18,500. We are well on track to hit 20,000 by the end of the year. Will you do another stream tomorrow? It's late. I might. I might not. I don't know, Austin. Tomorrow's going to be busy. I got a lot of videos to post. Spoon took all the force on that hit on Montgomery. Some people were saying that he got concussed on that play, which is why he played so garbage the rest of the game, but who knows? It's a theory, right? What's your opinion of Grove getting head coach looks next season? Well, how many head coaching jobs are going to be open? Let's take a look here. Okay, let me take a look here. Who's going to get fired? Who's going to have a job opening at head coach? You got the Jets, right? The Jets. The Bengals. The Jaguars. Maybe the Raiders. Eagles. Maybe the Giants. Cowboys. Maybe the Bears, although I doubt it. Maybe the Panthers, but nobody good is going to want to go there anyway. And that's only because they have a terrible owner. Maybe the Rams if McVay retires, which I could see. And I think that's it. But that's a lot, right? That's 10. So that tells me that there's a really good chance that Grubb does get a head coaching job. Yeah, the Metcalf fumble feels like the decisive turning point in the game, admittedly, right? Like, that felt like the moment when the game got out of control. I don't think we're making any kind of trades to spare. I'll talk about it a little bit here and there, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think we have the money for it. And what player are we going to trade? We need these players. We like these players. No way Grubb becomes a head coach after year one. All he has to do is impress one team. Lack of defensive PI calls. I mean, when you commit PI over and over and over again, eventually the referees get tired of calling it. It's the Legion of Boom strat. So, yeah, they're not going to call every single one of them. The one in the end zone near the end of the game, that one was very obvious, and that was a terrible bad call. So, I do think that you could make an argument that that one was egregious, but the game was also pretty much over at that point. We weren't going to win, so are we really going to get tripped up on that? McDonald basically said that that's just the kind of player that DK is and that we will never give up on a play by going down early. Okay, I that's kind of the same kind of thing that I like to say about DK, but today was too much. You had the fumble, the third down drop, and the holding call. It's too much. Do you think they should utilize Jake Bobo more? What? Bobo had 3 catches today. He's like the 5th or 6th option in this offense. How are we going to use him more? Yeah, Grubb wouldn't go back to college. That would be a step down. I thought Cross played fine, gave up some pressures. AJ Barner had a nice game. AJ Barner had a nice game. Geno leads the NFL in passing. You don't really want a quarterback to lead the league in passing, right? Because that means he's playing from behind and he's having to throw the ball every play. So that's not really good, but he's doing his thing. He's doing what he can. How do you feel about the Giants game at the moment? I feel good. They're probably not going to have neighbors. I'd be surprised if they had neighbors. So what is that offense going to be able to do, right? I think we're getting most of our players back. And if they don't have neighbors, like what the heck is going to happen? They're in a lot of trouble. Spoon looked silly on that one play to Montgomery. Spoon's had a rough time of it so far. By the way, Geno actually saved me in fantasy. I was a big underdog going into today, and I had Geno and Noah Fant. Noah Fant didn't do much, but Geno went off and saved me. So I did win in fantasy, so I guess that's cool, but you don't really want to be leading the league in passing yards because it means that the other aspects of the team aren't holding up. Spoon sophomore slump. It kind of feels like that, right? But he could just be playing bad for generic reasons. I think we're getting most of our players back next week. So I think they'll be back for the Niners game. I would be very surprised if Williams, Mafe, and Nwosu weren't back for the Giants. Murphy, I could see missing another game for sure. And I think we're getting Baker back too. Well, Tommy, you always want to be rotating your pass rushers in and out. Like, I don't want to go too far with it, guys, but there's a very real possibility that the Niners are just kind of bad this year or mediocre. Like, what is good about what is good about the Niners right now other than the Shanahan stuff, right? Like, their defense is legitimately good. They have they don't have enough mass up front. And I don't think there's anything really coming back to save that defense. Yeah, the offense might get McCaffrey back, maybe. His career might be over for all we know. Lots of other YouTubers think Spoon has been great. We're just seeing the big plays. Okay, I could buy that, but he's definitely putting himself in a highlight reel negatively right now. And today was rough, man. In the grand scheme, I'm not worried about Metcalf, and I'm not going to trip on it. Oh, nobody should. Nobody should. McCaffrey's out for the season. Have they officially announced that? I know he's probably out for the season, but I didn't think they had officially announced it. Trey Brown got cooked by a tight end today. I didn't even notice that. I barely noticed Trey Brown out there. I felt like he didn't play that much. I'm going to have to rewatch. Can feel a Lions-Seahawks rivalry brewing in the next few years. All of our games with them are fantastic. They are. They are. And we're probably going to have to go through them in the playoffs if we can get that far. We might have to go to Detroit again. We have to go to Detroit every year. Might have to go twice. I mean, I think that's a fair statement, Despair, but that's part of the process of a rookie head coach, right? And when I signed on for the Seahawks having a rookie head coach this year, like they do with McDonald, I was also signing on for that to happen from time to time. Daniel Bailey, thank you for the $1.99. What are your thoughts on McDonald's performance? Well, tonight was not good, but he was behind the eight ball. And um he was going up against a very good, very talented, well-rounded offense. Yeah, I knew they had announced about the Achilles tendonitis, but they haven't said he's out for the year yet. Although I do suspect he's going to miss the whole year. You looking forward for the game versus the Bears? That's so far away, I'm not even thinking about that. We got so much time between now and the Bears. Also, I gotta be honest, I'm a little bit tired of Seahawks fans acting like Shane Waldron was terrible just because he's gone. Like, that's what it feels like to me. It's like weird sour grapes. People act like we had a bottom 5 offense all 3 years Waldron was here. Not even close. Waldron was probably more good than bad. Some Seahawks fans have a hard time with that. Everybody just acts like he was he was like frickin' Greg Knapp or something. Like, okay, Shane Waldron was here 3 years. The first year, we were mediocre. We had an average offense with a quarterback that was not capable of running his offense. The third year, we were average with a bottom 5 offensive line. The 1 year he actually had a competent quarterback and a competent offensive line, we were top 10. Someone explain to me why he's so bad. Someone explain to me why he's terrible. And now pretty much every Seahawks fan on social media acts like he's Jimmy Lake or something. I don't get it. You know how hard it is to be an offensive play caller when your offensive line is terrible? It's really hard. Can we talk about how Geno is elite? What a dog performance. That was special. That was special. Brian Schottenheimer was good too. Bad OC? I think Kellen Moore might actually be bad. What do you guys think? Is Kellen Moore bad? You think we can go into the Bills game 6-1? Yeah. I might even end up predicting that. Greg Roman. Well, Greg Roman's good for like the first year he's there, and then he becomes bad, you know? Hey, Nate Hackett won back-to-back MVPs for Aaron Rodgers, right? I thought the O-line was passable today. Saw some good stuff out of Haynes. It was better. It was better, but Geno's still getting killed back there. And if you look at the passing chart, Geno did not throw a single pass more than 20 yards down the field until his last pass of the game. Yeah, Eric Bieniemy's probably pretty bad. Do you think we should have waited for Ben Johnson? No. Every indication we have right now is that Ben Johnson isn't head coach material yet. Some people are just meant to be coordinators. Who played a better game today in your estimation, Geno or Goff? Okay, well, here's what I would say. What if the two quarterbacks traded places? What if Geno was the quarterback who only got pressured like 5 times the whole game, and Goff was the guy who got hit like 15, 16 times? What do you think happens? Yeah, Kingsbury's been good. Schottenheimer was fired as like a last-ditch effort to fix Russell Wilson, and it didn't work. And I get it. I don't think Schottenheimer was great, but I don't know. There's this weird, funky obsession that Seahawks fans have with blaming everything on the offensive coordinators that we've had over the years. Like people talk crap about Bevel. Like Bevel was good. Bevel was really good. No, Blazer. Ken Norton was much better than the guy we got to replace Ken Norton. At this point, I don't even care. Like, I'm not even kidding. If Pete Carroll had come back this year, which thank God he didn't, I think we should have fired Clint Hurt and brought back Ken Norton. I think that would have been better. It's not just a Seahawks thing. Football fans in general do that. It's a way to avoid blaming the head coach. I could see that. I feel like it was a way to never blame Wilson for anything. I feel like it was basically a way to say, it's not Wilson's fault he can never win an MVP. It's not Wilson's fault we've never had a top 3 offense. It's all these coordinators. Thoughts on Jason Myers? There's not much to say right now. He's fine. He doesn't have the leg for a 62-yard field goal, I guess, which is disappointing because he is making all that money, but most kickers can't make 62 yards, so it's whatever. Derek Hall or Mafe? Right now Mafe, but Hall might be coming for him. Myers hit 65 in warm-up. Wow. I didn't know that. So he should have made it. Oh well, we still would have lost. Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with being disappointed in the defense. They should still be a little better than that, but everything that happens in that game made sense. I think Geno's a tier better than Goff. I think it goes like top tier is Mahomes, right? By himself. Next tier is Allen. I still say Burrow. I know some people would disagree. Lamar, Dak Prescott. And then the next tier is like Stafford, Geno, Love, Stroud. Something like that. And then the tier below those guys would be like Goff, Tua, Baker Mayfield, guys like that. I don't have a exact tier list, but my gut is that it's something like that. Purdy's probably in that tier too. Yeah, Geno's coming for it. If Geno keeps, Stafford should be higher. I mean, that's kind of the tough thing right now, right? He is old, and it is starting to show up negatively. But I put him tier 2, right? I can't put him in tier 1 with Mahomes. He's not as good as Mahomes. Purdy would be the same tier as like Tua and Baker. Do you think we draft in a developmental quarterback next year? I don't really like the quarterbacks next year, man. Yeah, the top tier is Mahomes by himself. And then the next tier is Allen, Burrow, Lamar, Dak, and Stafford, I think. Something like that. I don't know where to put Rodgers. I don't know what to think about Aaron Rodgers right now. I don't like any of the quarterbacks except for maybe Cam Ward. And even Cam Ward is not amazing. He's definitely flawed. Yeah, I think keeping Geno next year is a no-brainer. I'm pro Dak. I'm pro Dak. I think Dak's very good, and I think people have gotten too used to hating on him. I think Dak is actually a very good quarterback. I'm pro Dak Prescott. I don't know if he should be getting paid $240 million, but I think he's really good. Herbert's interesting. Herbert might be in the same tier as Geno and Love and Stroud at this point. I always have this kind of inclination to want to have Herbert in tier 2, but at this point, I don't know if he is. I'm not a big Milroe as a prospect fan. I don't think he's an NFL quarterback. I watched him a lot last year because I was watching a lot of DJ James and Nehemiah Pritchett tape, and the main tape that I used was the Alabama game, and I just didn't like what I saw. Do we pay Woolen knowing we're going to have to pay Spoon the year after? I think it's going to be hard. It's doable. The problem is, what are you giving up, right? What are you going to give up on the other side? Like paying Woolen and Witherspoon might mean you can't do the offensive line the way you might want to, right? Well, Cross is 100% staying. I think Cross is a no-brainer unless he starts playing badly. Mafe, I think, could stay, but he's the guy who maybe gets traded. There's no way we're keeping Walker. He's a running back. It doesn't make sense. We're not keeping Walker, I don't think. I think it would be very stupid to keep Walker with all the other guys we have to pay. It sucks, but I don't think you can do it. I can't rank Jaden Daniels yet. He's only played 4 games. Yeah, I'm very interested to know what kind of contract Gino's looking for. Like, is Gino looking for top of the market money the way Golf got it? Or is he going to be looking for, like, Kirk Cousins money? Or is he going to be looking for a discount again? If he is, then, he's a better man than me, I guess. How do you feel about how A.J. Barner played today? Oh, he was really good. The catches were easy money. No, Trevor Lawrence is like is like in the same tier for me as like Baker Mayfield and Tua. AJ could be our tight end for the future. I don't know if he has enough athleticism to be a tight end 1, but we'll see. He could be. If we extend Gino for how much time? I don't know. That's a good question. I would assume you just extend him for 2 or 3 years at a time and then figure it out later. I disagree about Walker. Yeah, he is a running back, but that also means you get a difference maker at a discounted price. Okay, but what kind of discount are we talking here? Right? Like, what are we talking about? Are we thinking, is he going to take less than Kamara got 4 years ago? I don't think so. Yeah, the Fant extension's not working out great. I understand why we did it. We needed a tight end 1, and he was like the only good option, but it's not looking good. Would Walker play for the tag? Maybe. Malik Willis is like Z tier, not a real quarterback. If K9 is, well, I think smart teams just keep cycling through rookie running backs every year. So keep drafting a running back pretty much every year. Keep pulling them in, pulling them in. You know, find the next Jordan Mason. Herbert or Prescott? I don't know how to feel about Herbert anymore. I feel like he's tier 2, but maybe he's not, and I think Dak is tier 2. Brian, I can guarantee you with 100% accuracy that the Niners regret paying McCaffrey. I am 100,000% sure the Niners regret paying McCaffrey. Cam Ward or Jackson Dart? Probably Cam Ward. Jackson Dart's a system QB. I still like Levis, but he's just not figuring it out. It's not happening right now. Because of the injury only? Yeah, but the injury's a factor. Carson Beck sucks. I tried to be down with him, but like at best he's going to be Matt Hasselbeck in the pros, and you just don't need to spend a high pick on that. A9 is all pro level, but his durability is so concerning. I don't know if you can pay him. Yeah, I don't think it makes any sense to pay him. If he was playing, they would probably be on top of the division. You know it. Yeah, but he's not playing. What's the point? Like, what is this argument? If Christian McCaffrey was a completely different person that wasn't injured, yeah, the Niners would be happy they paid him. But he is injured. Like, what is this? What is this hill you are dying on? Can Shadur make it in the pros? Feels like he's gonna be like feels like he's gonna be a head case. I'm out on him, but he's got a nice skill set, admittedly, so he's got a chance. Any insights on timeline for our D line injuries? I feel like Williams, Mafe, and Nwosu will be back for the Giants game. Murphy probably not, but who knows? If Lockett retiring, who are you looking at for wide receiver 3? There are some names. This is a good receiver draft. I haven't picked out a favorite name yet. Um, I would really caution against thinking about Bobo in that regard. I don't think Bobo needs to be out there 50 snaps a game. I think that's probably bad. I think you want Bobo out there for like 20 snaps a game. So I really don't want to force Bobo into that role. I wanted Shadur to go to the Cowboys, but then they extended Dak. And then they could hire Dion as head coach. I want I want a receiver to replace Lockett. I'm just not sure who it is yet. Would you want to extend Mafe or let him walk? You probably want to extend Mafe. I think he's taken a leap here and he's like a star player now. Shadur's not going to go to Carolina. Dion's not going to let Shadur go to the Panthers. Dion's going to step in and put his foot down on that. Jared Verse is currently the odds-on favorite to win Defensive Rookie of the Year by a pretty wide margin. I didn't know Jared Verse was doing that much. Thoughts on getting a right tackle in the draft? I think we probably will have to. But we'll see what happens with Lucas the rest of the way. But I think we will probably have to, yes. Okay, Jared Verse. Okay, he's got 19 tackles and a sack. I think he's got 4 tackles for loss. Okay. He's doing his thing. Ooh. If the week 5, man. Week 5, the Rams. That would basically end their season if they lose this game to the Packers. If they lose this game to the Packers at home, I think they're basically done. 1-4. Still have to play the Vikings. Still have to play the Seahawks twice. Saints, Bills. Still play the Niners. Yeah, I think if the Rams lose this Packers game, you can stick a fork in them. Would defense have held them to under 30 if healthy? I hope so. I would think so too, right? That's just, it seems to be common sense. Is there an argument we want the Rams to win? Yeah, but it's a bad argument. Anything can be argued, guys. Think about it. Anything can be argued. You can argue that this bottle I'm holding right now is pink, but it's not. It's yellow. You can still argue it, but you're just going to lose the argument. Yeah, it's prime. Any guard prospects you have looked in like? Yeah, I make videos about that stuff pretty much every week. It's implied as, is there a good argument? Yeah, I know. I know. Do you like prime? It's decent. Low calorie. Like, this is 25 calories. That's pretty good. Yeah, the whole Alabama offensive line's good this year. Gentil's special, Tommy. Special. Do you think there's any chance they extend Geno midseason? Apparently, the bonus money situation on his initial contract extension makes that hard because he only signed it like a year and a half ago. So we might need to wait until the end of the year to let the bonus money clear out. But if not for that, or if they can find a way around that, then yes. I know that John Schneider really likes Quinn Ewers, but at a certain point, don't you just have to say he can't stay healthy? That's owned by Logan Paul? Really? I actually didn't know that. It's like, what's that thing that Mr. Beast is doing now? What's it called? Lunchables? It's not Lunchables. That's Lunchables is the old one when I was a kid. But it's called like Lunchables, I think. That thing that he's releasing that's supposed to be like food for kids that's easy to make. Like, it's such a good idea. It's such a good idea to make like food that is good to eat and tastes good for kids. Like, that's such a good idea, but you know they're not actually going through the whole process of making it actually good for you. And it's like if somebody just was able to invest a little bit more care into something like that, you'd have something. We missed our front seven and held up with the lines. This team is scary. That's what I'm saying, man. Don't even trip. It would be 3x the price if it was healthy. Yeah, that's, I guess, the problem, right? Well, last time I went, I got this Gatorade Zero stuff, and I actually liked it. And I don't like Gatorade, but this is Gatorade Zero. Each bottle has like 10 calories. This is good. I like these a lot. And then there's, I think it's called like Kirkland. It's called like Kirkland Sports Drink or something. That's good, but there's a lot of calories. It's like 150 calories a bottle, which is almost a can of soda. I mean, it's better for you than soda for sure, but it's not great. There's Bai. Bai's pretty good. Some flavors are gross, though. There's no way that's real, Kanya. Lunchly isn't good for you. It's just marginally healthier than Lunchables. Yeah, exactly. It's not good for you. If somebody could actually make like actually find a way to do that, that's such a good idea. How do you feel about the progress of the team in the post-Wilson era? Are we where you expected us to be 3 years in? I mean, probably, but we need to see this season play out. We need to see what this season ends up as first. Show us your fantasy team. Hold on. I did win this week, by the way. Okay, my quarterback is Anthony Richardson, but I did bench him this week. I had a feeling, and I was right. So I started Geno Smith at quarterback. So my quarterbacks are Anthony Richardson and Geno Smith. My running back is Travis Etienne, J.K. Dobbins, Josh Jacobs, and Miles Sanders. My wide receivers are Terry McLaurin, Amon-Ra, Jordan Addison, Keon Coleman, Jalen Hyatt, Jalen Tolbert. My tight end is Noah Fant and Tyler Conklin. And my defense is the Jets defense. And my kicker is Fairbarn. I'm 2-2. I don't know how I lost last week, though. I thought Terry McLaurin bailed me out with that touchdown on Monday night. But then I checked in the next day and I had lost. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I had Addison on my bench too. I forgot to start him, but I still won, so. Who is your wide receiver too? Um, what did I say? It's either McLaurin or Addison, depending on the week. Well, my running backs are ETN, Dobbins. Dobbins has been good, and Josh Jacobs, who I didn't really want Josh Jacobs, but I kind of had to take him. No, I took Richardson because I thought it would be fun, because he is a fun guy to have on your fantasy team. As it turns out, so far it has not been very fun. Oh, that's pretty good, Con. Or Kanye ASMR. I don't fucking know. Okay, we've been streaming for like an hour now, and it's almost midnight. So, thank you for getting me to 18,500. We're still there. I just confirmed. Have you watched the OG anime Inuyasha? I watched the first 10 episodes. It was pretty good, but I didn't get further. Speaking of anime, though, I am going to the theater tomorrow night to see Howl's Moving Castle. So that should be interesting. I am going to see the English dub, which I know some people don't like. But the first few anime movies I saw in the theater have been subbed. I wanted to try the dub. So that should be fun. Uh Tomorrow night. The Ghibli dubs are always good. Good actors. Yes, that is true. I don't think the English dub of Spirited Away is very good. Oh, what the? That is a huge spider. Oh, man. I don't know if I want to kill it or what. Actually, it's like a daddy long legs. They're relatively harmless. I'm going to let that one go. I mean, that is a little bit freaky, but it's like a daddy long legs. No, I'm not going to. I hate spiders. I can't stand them. Yeah, Ghibli always gets like celebrities to do voices, which is kind of cool. Sometimes I think it can be kind of like what's the point, right? Like remember the Yogi Bear movie like 10 years ago? It was more than 10 years ago. It had Justin Timberlake voicing Yogi Bear's sidekick, but they modulated his voice and like boosted the pitch. So you couldn't even tell it was Justin Timberlake. Like, well, what's the point? Why'd you hire a celebrity when you were going to alter his voice anyway? 15 years old? Okay. I knew it was more than 10. I think they released that movie in 3D. It was like released during that window where almost every movie was releasing in 3D and it was supposed to be like a big deal. Thoughts on Draymond Jones? Doing fine. You know, not necessarily worth all the money we're giving him, but he plays a role on this team that I think is valuable. So, yeah, that's going to be fun tomorrow. And then there's one more Ghibli movie I'm going to see in theaters before the end of the year, and then that'll probably be it for me. What's your prediction for the next year's Super Bowl? Right now, I mean, it's hard. Like, I really don't think the Chiefs are that good, but it's really hard to not pick them. You know? I think you guys know what I'm saying. I think you guys get what I'm implying there. What's your top 5 anime? Um, Shows or movies? Bills versus Lions would make a lot of sense. Like, I don't think the Chiefs have looked good so far this year, but I kind of feel like they're going to be there anyway, so it's tough. Zorn, thank you for the $25 super chat. Big one. Entertaining game tonight, and I like McDonald as our head coach moving forward. What's there to dislike? We're 4 games into the Mike McDonald era, and we're already seeing things much better than we would have seen them under the previous regime. Shows. Number 1 is Evangelion. Number 2. I haven't finished it yet, but Death Note's really good. Little bit of, this is kind of a kid anime, but if you took like the collective of Digimon Adventure, I think that's actually really good because it's character driven. I think it still holds up. Tamers was pretty good too, but I actually didn't finish it, so I'm not going to say that one. Even though mostly because of fan service, Fairy Tail, like that's a fan service anime, but whatever, I like it. What's the other one? Sword Art Online's actually good. Oh yeah, Attack on Titan, that's another really good one. There you go. Mars Express is French anime. What was the name of that one show that was really popular like 10 years ago? Miraculous Ladybug. Isn't that French anime, basically? Because I think it was French, but it was basically anime. I know it's CGI, but it's like CGI anime. Demon Slayer is like the most popular anime ever, right? Miraculous Ladybug is ass. I've never seen it, but I remember it was popular like 10 years ago. Actually, it's kind of funny. I do know that at one point in the OOs, Anno was actually going to do a sequel to End of Evangelion, and he had some ideas for it written down and stuff, but then he never made it. And what he had kind of turned into Attack on Titan. At least a lot of the components. Also, I'd say this. I don't know if it counts. The Persona 4 anime is very good too. That's actually a really good one. I like the Persona 4 anime. The Persona 5 anime sucks, unfortunately, but the Persona 4's anime is excellent. Well, some of those yards were garbage time, brother Abe. Would you still say Mike McDaniel is a good coach? I feel like he is. There is some funky stuff going on there. Yeah, Persona is based on a game. That's why I don't know if it counts. It's an anime adaptation of the game, but it does do some things to expand on the game a little bit. So the Dolphins have not scored a touchdown since Tua got injured. Maybe he is a good quarterback. All right. So it's almost midnight. We're about to turn things over to October. So I got a video to record and then I'm going to bed. So thank you everybody for coming out. Obviously a disappointing result, but I'm not discouraged. I'm not upset. I'm not mad. We're right where I thought we'd be after 4 games, maybe even a little bit better off. So thanks for coming out. Thank you for getting me to, somebody unsubbed. I'm now 1 sub below 18,500. Somebody unsubbed. Who did that? Somebody clicked on sub. Who? Who? All right. Whatever. Anyway, I'll pick up the sub sometime later tonight in all likelihood. But yeah, 18,500. Thank you everybody for helping out. I guess. All right. Everyone have a good rest of your night and plenty of videos coming out tomorrow.